the work study in relation to the murder and robbery, where the minister is contending that the recommendation in relation to this work study was that the PKTT's function needs to be transferred to murder and robbery unit within SAPS in order to capacitate and direct focus on a more permanent structure. I've indicated earlier on that a task team cannot be compared to a unit. A task team is established for a particular purpose, and then a task team, it's whereby you bring the different expertise together to work together as a team, whereas a unit, it's whereby you need 20 investigating officers to establish the murder and robbery unit. So comparing a task team to a unit, according to me, does not make a reason. And the purpose of the 2019 work study, if you go through, was to check the feasibility of the establishment of specializing units within detective services. It was not meant for the assessment of the task teams. Another misinterpretation by the minister on the work study is where he recommends the current task teams to be subjected to an impact analysis by OD and strategic management in the provinces to ensure the feasibility and the existing of teams. So even that document is not recommending the disestablishment. It recommends the impact analysis and feasibility studies to be conducted, but to the provincial task teams. It's not talking to the national. The purpose of the implementation report by Colonel Mare was to determine the implementation status of the specialized units that were established. The minister further misinterpreted paragraph 8.9 and 8.10 of the recommendations. No task team be established without a written or approved documentation. That is one of the recommendations, which is contrary to disestablish the existing task teams. Instead, it says any task team that is established at provincial level must be with the approval of the provincial commission. And the second one talks to the current task teams to be subjected to an impact analysis, as I've indicated. That is what was supposed to have happened with the correct procedure of disbanding the national task team. The impact analysis was supposed to be conducted first. In terms of budgetary constraints and lack of oversight of the work of PKTT, I explained in my affidavit at length the oversight mechanism that was and still in place for the PKTT. Out of all the task teams that are currently on, it is and it was the PKTT that was having such oversight mechanism than all of them. So the budgetary constraint issue, that one was addressed by the CFO during her testimony, but one can confirm that during that time, PKTT was not the only task team that was in place. We had and we still have others that were in place since 2017, long before the PKTT in 2018, and they are still in place even today. So the issue of budgetary constraints cannot be applicable to the PKTT only. On the next paragraphs, I'm indicating those operations that are still on, that were on before 2018 and are still on. But then on paragraph 233, from maybe let me start from paragraph 232, where we are reflecting to the contradiction during the very same December. The minister, when the minister then wrote the disbandment, earlier that same month, on the 9th of December, the minister then directed for the establishment of the task team in the Eastern Cape addressing taxi violence. The information note in relation to the formation of this task team indicates that the minister has tasked Major General Zulu due to the complaint by the families of the victims of murder in the Eastern Cape, which is normally the same reason that the task teams are formed for. So in the same month, earlier in December, the task team is formed, and then the same month, another task team is disbanded, and then the extension of other task teams. Then summing up the last reason that talks to the complaints against the PKTT. The reasons provided by the minister further includes the allegations of complaints which were received regarding the abuse of power by the PKTT from members who were part of and who were previously part or are still part of the task team. As the command structures at all levels, we have never received such complaints, so as we are able then to provide necessary feedback or accountability to the minister with regards to those complaints, because they have never been discussed with us nor verified with us whether they are true or not. That will lead from Patricia Mashale and Mary de Haas, which were also cited as the reasons for the disbandment. According to our profile, Patricia Mashale is an information peddler who is talking whatever he is sent to talk about. But then from paragraph 240, we are putting the correct profile of Miss Patricia Mashale from when she was dismissed by the Department of Health due to desertion and was employed by SAPS without declaring that he was dismissed. Hence, then he was dismissed again in the SAPS because of that lack of declaration. She developed hatred for SAPS. That is the profile that we have. She developed hatred of SAPS up until such time that she formed a WhatsApp group of SAPS members for change that is made up of all members that are dismissed from the SAPS. So for her to talk anything negative about the SAPS, then it's not far-fetched. So all what she says it needs to be verified before then maybe a decision is taken. On paragraph 240, we are mentioning just one example where Mr. Mashale, where Miss Mashale lied that Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo has a brother who is a Captain Khumalo in the SAPS. I have 3 brothers. None of them is a captain in the SAPS, but then these are issues. So it's really baffling that the minister will take such a person seriously without first verifying any of the allegations made by her. Maybe for the sake of time, I just need to say same applies to Mary Dihas.
Then General Khumalo, just to also briefly touch on some issues that came through from the evidence that were given by other witnesses in relation to the raid that was that happened at Mr. Matlala's residence and the seizure of his phones. Now, when Advocate Johnson appeared before the committee, it was alleged that the phones of Mr. Matlala was already on, and there were concerns that items might have been deleted. Now we know in Mr. Matlala's evidence as well, there was an allegation that some items were deleted and then there was some tampering with his phones. Now, in paragraph 256 of your statement, you do not deny that the phones were on, but you provide an explanation as to why this was, and you deny that the phones were tampered with. Do you want to just briefly provide an explanation for why the phones were in fact on when it was collected from the PKTT?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I wish to place on record that the allegations that data was deleted from the phones of Mr. Matlala are false. No one else other than us that were interested in all the information that we could get, because we were the only ones and are still the only ones that are investigating Mr. Matlala. Then addressing the issue of maybe why the cell phones were on, from paragraph 254, the phones were seized from Mr. Matlala on the 14th and were received by our digital forensic investigator on the 15th of May. And then on the 30th of May, the cell phones were handed over to IDEC as instructed by the National Commissioner. The digital forensic was still busy working on the phones. There were suspicions that there might be other reasons why IDEC is so urgently needing these phones, but then we made sure that the proper chain statements and processes are followed, whereby our digital forensic investigator, whilst the phone was still on, they were handed over to IDEC because he was still working on the phone when the instruction over came that the phones must be handed over. But the process of handing over in terms of resealing and completing the necessary handing over done active even after my arrest, because the metadata activity is still recording when our DFIs are working on the phone.
But it's not an indication of tampering. Okay. And then, General, just to go through some of the evidence that also came through during Mr. Matlala's evidence before the committee. And this is from paragraph 258 of your statement. Now, Mr. Nhlanhla, in front of the committee, denied that he has dual citizenship, and he denied that he has an Eswatini ID. But in your statement, in paragraph 263, you said that the statement made by Mr. Nhlanhla was false, and that he was publicly, it was false that he doesn't have dual citizenship, and you, in your statement, attach, attach some documentation which confirmed that he in fact does have dual citizenship, and that he was not being honest before the committee. Do you briefly want to just explain the nature of the evidence that you managed to obtain to support the statement that he does in fact have dual citizenship?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Indeed, it is us who identified through our investigation that there is a possibility of Mr. Nhlanhla having the second identity book. And then we followed up that investigation, and we can confirm now that Mr. Nhlanhla made a false statement in Parliament as well as at court on paragraph 28 of his affidavit for bail, alleging that the police had planted that photo of that second Swaziland ID in his phone, because that was his reason that it was planted. But then on our further investigation, together with the Eswatini authorities, and then Eswatini Ministry of Home Affairs confirmed to us that the ID of Mr. Nhlanhla was issued, and that it was issued with a major procedural errors and irregularities. The Eswatini authorities confirmed that Vusimuzi Dlamini is not a citizen of Eswatini by birth, which is Kurt Nhlanhla. They further confirmed that the personal identification number was created on the 12th of February 2024 and used to issue the identity book before the birth date was registered. The birth record was only registered 8 days later, which is the 20th of February. The investigation team in Swaziland, which is in constant communication with us, had already arrested a person and charged the Home Affairs official who facilitated that issuance of fraudulent ID, Swaziland ID, to Mr. Nhlanhla. And is attached, confirmation to revenue authorities attached as my SDK 39.
We are coming to the end now, and this could possibly, your response could possibly also be part of your conclusion, General Khumalo. But just to address what you describe as a retaliation against members of the PKTT, in paragraph 277, you seem to suggest that there were a number of, or rather in your statement, you suggested there were a number of matters or cases that were open against members of the PKTT, which you say are not coincidental. And you say that they were orchestrated in direct response to the work that the PKTT have been doing in counterintelligence. Through the matters and why you have arrived at that conclusion.
In conclusion, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, with regard to that subject, I'll link it with the coincidence of the 6th of December, when then the IDEC investigation started again. Really PKTT, I will say GCI Ops, because I've clarified the issue of PKTT coming in to assist and withdrawing. So all these cases are opened against the members of GCI Ops to counteract any investigation that they are carrying on.
Just to clarify, I mean, we've heard evidence on IDEC that has opened matters, or rather, you can see that from your statement that you specifically refer to. But in so far as IPIT is concerned, you've taken us through a WhatsApp correspondence between Mr. Nhlanhla and Mr. Mkhwanazi. But there was, in fact, no case that IPIT pursued against members of the PKTT or the counterintelligence operation members? Or was there a case that IPIT also pursued against the members?
According to our information, there was an attempt.
So it means that there is something good that we are doing. But to give young African females coming from disadvantaged and marginalized, the hinterland of this country, an opportunity to show their abilities like the way Advocate Mkhwanazi has done, it's a tremendous achievement. And we want to thank you so much. You must never drop your head. If there comes a moment that you make a mistake, that mistake must not disable your movement forward. Rise and dust yourself and focus all the time. We want to thank you so much. Advocate Bongi Mkhize, is there anything you want to say?
There's nothing I'd like to say, Chair. I think, well done, Maria.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, and thank you so much for your testimony, General Khumalo. We want to thank you so much for your cooperation and for having availed yourself to this engagements. What we are going to do, honorable members, and I just want to indulge with you, General Khumalo. Your request has been made before us that at some particular time you will want to be released. I'm just going to request you to bear with us to stretch you for the next 2 to 3 hours. We should be done. We are going to do this, honorable members. Number one, during the interaction, you have asked so many clarity-seeking questions. I'm not going to allow any one of you to ask clarity-seeking question or a follow-up when we have allocated a speaker chance to ask the general questions. Number two, I have reduced the time of full-time members from 30 minutes to 25 minutes. So when we come back from break, we are going to take 8 speakers. 15 minutes for the alternate members, 25 minutes for the full member. And this is how that time is allocated. Honorable Ngola, because you are starting, you must listen to me. And let me warn Honorable Nomvalo from distracting you. What is going to happen when we come back at 20 minutes past 5? It will be Honorable Ngola and Honorable Sokanyile. Their time runs until 20 minutes before 6. and then they will be followed by Honorable, yourself, Nomvalo, and Shongwe, until 20 minutes past 7. And then the Democratic Alliance, Honorable Cameron and Honorable Thorpe, until 8 o'clock. The last two speakers is 30 minutes. At 8:30, the committee adjourns. So it's going to be Honorable Matthews and Honorable James. So we would have allocated all the alternates time to speak tonight. Tomorrow, when we come here, we will then take Bangazita, we will take the EFF Mkhalaka, we take Bangazita, 25 minutes each. We take Honorable Sols. Then we come back, we take 50 minutes for Honorable Sangoni and Honorable Ntuli, 25 minutes each for Honorable Skosana and whoever will be here, Honorable Breitenbach from the DA. And then we will be done. If we still have time remaining before 1 o'clock or whatever time we decide to adjourn, we will check with the legal team if they have observations or some few questions to make before we close. So I'm going to request your cooperation, General Khumalo. Once we start and the clock strikes, once it's 7 o'clock, it means the 40 minutes for the ANC would have come to an end, you stop speaking. And when it's 20 minutes to 8, you stop speaking. The time of the MKP would have ended. I'm just saying the two of us, you and I, let's manage that time. Yeah. Honorable Sols.
Chair, thank you so much. Chair, I just want to register my concern and my vehement disagreement. The approach we used from the start of our committee was that we will spend enough time probing and interrogating. And I must say, I was pleased with how we started off, where you would give us an allocated time and the response of the witness doesn't impact on our time. But then, of course, you decided to change it and we submitted to that. And we continued, but the time I felt was very short, but we obliged. Yesterday, there was emphasis that we would want to ensure that we exhaust, we focus on probing and ensuring that we do what we can, we work as hard as we can to get to the truth. Today, the time is cut again from 30 to 25. And General Khumalo is not just any witness. General Khumalo is a prime witness. He's not a secondary witness. It's a key witness. And for us to be cut, it's as if we're now saying we're more focused on finishing, and we've allocated 2 days. So I'd like to register that and perhaps ask that maybe as a committee we should talk about that and see what the general feeling is. But I disagree vehemently. Thank you, Chair.
No, I take the point, Honorable Sols. The decision that I make within the confines of the expectations of members. It's not me. The members are the ones who said tomorrow they will wish to conclude business around 1 o'clock. Unless if members say we can start at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, I don't have a problem. I allocate you the time you have. And the time that we we have is that one that I have said I'm going to allocate. But at the end of today's proceedings, if members, because tomorrow, the reason why I'm saying this is because tomorrow we're starting at 9 o'clock. So if members want to increase the time, you can say, no, let's start at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's something that you can caucus during the break. You will come and give me a feedback what time you want to start tomorrow. Yeah, but I think the time that I allocated is sufficient given the time that you have tonight and tomorrow.
Yes, Chair. I just want to state for the record, I was not part of those members. I was not part of the consultation
Yeah.
of 1 p.m. So
Okay.
please exclude me from that decision.
Yeah, that is why I'm saying that when I say you, I include you that during the break you can talk amongst yourselves as members of the committee and advise the chairperson. I'm your chairperson. When I speak every time here, I want to speak your views. Yeah. Is that okay? So if you can caucus between yourselves and agree, when we resume, if there is going to be increase on the time allocated, it means the number of speakers for tonight is also going to reduce. And you shall have also worked out what time we must start tomorrow. Thank you so much. I'm amenable to your inputs, members. Can we break and come back at 20 past 5? Yeah. Yeah. It was eaten by yourselves. Yeah. We have revised the time and the list of speakers. We are only going to take 6 speakers for tonight, but have added extra 5 minutes to the full members of the committee. So it means the time will no longer be 40 minutes, it will be 45 minutes for those parties that will have alternates. It's 30 plus 15. So it's now 27 minutes after 5. So what it means is that the time of the ANC will expire at quarter past 6. And then the MKP will expire at 19 hours and the DA at 19:45. And the rest of the members will come tomorrow. We are starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yeah, and we have agreed that there are not going to be any interjections. There is no member who is going to ask a follow-up question. If there is any member who asks a follow-up question, don't respond to that member. You just keep quiet and pretend as if you don't hear them. Yeah. What else have I not said, Chief Whip? I have said everything that you agreed on as parties. Okay. Let me identify the speakers. Is Honorable Nhlanhla. 7 o'clock, you stop. Honorable Sokanyile, 7:15, you stop. Honorable Nomvalo, from 7:15 to 7:45. And Honorable Shongwe from 7:45 to 8 o'clock. That is your time. Yeah, and Honorable Cameron from 20 hours to 20:30 is your time. And the time of Honorable Thorpe is 20:30 to 20:40. At 20:45, I'm going to stand up to leave this chambers. It means the time of the meeting has ended. Your time starts now, Honorable Nhlanhla, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon, General Khumalo. Chair, I think the first observation is that the testimony is assisting. It would have more assisted had he appeared before some of the witnesses. But we understand that it was matters beyond yours and our control. You fell sick, and we hope that you have fully recovered now. Chair, another observation is that it looks like within SAPS, the population of errand boys is increasing rapidly. I think those people who run errands on behalf of alleged criminals, but they are police officers, looks like the population is increasing. Chair, I think the first issue I want to raise with the general is that General Mkhwanazi has got a firm view that your arrest is indicative of the fact that you are a project from those who want to stand against the rule of law and from those who want to make the crime intelligence stagnant in such an extent that they stand opposed to the reforms in the crime intelligence. Can you tell us your view in that regard? You are a project of who? Why are you a project? What are these reforms?